Hello everyone and welcome to the FM Network. My name is Keith from the Observer Football channel, and today I have the privilege of bringing you a how-to video on a forgotten FM22 related function, which is how to use opposition instructions. Now, before we get into today's video, please make sure you check out my channel. Link is provided in the description below for more FM22 related content, whether it be tutorials, playthroughs, etc. And while you're at it, please make sure you subscribe to the FM Network YouTube channel as well, because they have so many helpful videos on anything football manager related content, whether it be tutorials, playthroughs, and much more. Now, let's get right into the video. Opposition instructions are vital to any football manager save, past or present. Now, the reason why I mention this is because as an avid FM player for the last 6 years, I cannot tell you how many times I have either forgot to assign my opposition instructions per match, or just was too lazy to do them, and it cost me games. It cost me so many goals and so many frustrating moments because my defense was not equipped to handle the opposition's tactics. Aim of today's video is to just give a refresher to the experienced FM players, to give an overview to the newer FM players, and to provide newer information to those players that maybe are looking to get into FM but are just kind of looking for more information to make that jump. Now, today we're going to cover over 4 topics in regards to opposition instructions, and this will be tight marking, trigger press, tackling, and then showing on to foot. The first and probably most important category of opposition instructions has to be tight marking. Tight marking is a very crucial aspect of any football manager related tactics. This will give instructions to your team to tightly mark certain players of the opposition. Now, typically tight marking does apply to forwards. So this will be your strikers, this will be your wingers, and this will be occasionally as well your center attack mids. Your center attack mids, I would recommend having them tight marked if you do not have an active CDM in your current tactic. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, how do I know when to tightly mark a player? For myself personally, I always like to tightly mark strikers because typically they're pretty quick, they have pretty decent heading stats, and overall they're pretty much a menace to my defenders. My experience playing Football Manager, the AI loves to play wing play, where they cross the ball into the box for headers, etc. For example, in my Sassuolo save here, I would tightly mark Dusan Vlahovic, just because he's going to be more in the box and he will have more probably delivery from the wingers. And for myself, I always like to make sure I have defenders that are either strong on the ball, tight marking, have good jumping reach, decent pace, and good composure on the ball. So always make sure you look for those stats when hiring center backs. Wingers. So how do I know if I need to tightly mark a winger? So one of the things you got to look for is pace, heading stats, composure, and technique. So for example, if you're unsure about certain players, one thing you can do is look over at the profile. So for example here, Adam Unas, he has a good pace, jumping reach is very low, doesn't have really good heading stats, passing's pretty good, technique is good as well, composure's okay, so not too bad. Now, one thing for myself is that because he has very low heading stats, I am very confident in allowing my team to not tightly mark him, just because if I tightly mark him, he might beat my defenders past the ball. So one instruction I might do as well is I'll set this to never. So again, once you get more comfortable with the opposition team, you can kind of generate these instructions quicker. Now, the second most important category of opposition instructions has to be trigger press or the closing down instruction. Why this is important is because this will give your players the instructions to close down on the selected players of the opposition who are probably the most dangerous on the ball. So this can be typically the most creative players. It could be your wingers, it could be your strikers, it could be your midfielders, or it could be your left and right backs. Now, for the sake of this video and just from my own experience playing Football Manager for the past 6 years, Football Manager, again, loves to play wide and loves to play the wing play where they have delivery in the box or they cut in to take a shot. Myself personally, I always make sure to apply the instruction to the left back and right back. So in this case for Florentina, I would apply this instruction to Milinkovic, and I also applied to Bastoni. Typically what I find is that the left back and right back are always going to overlap on the wingers, typically regardless of the formation, provided it's not a three at the back formation. The third category, tackling, is one of the more interesting player instructions that you can give for your opposition. Now, for example, here, if you look at the screen here, now tackling has three categories. It's going to be easy, normal, and hard. So typically here, normal is something we won't be really covering over here because it's kind of a useless button. If you don't have to change this to either easy or hard, you just leave them blank, and either normal and blank is the same. We're going to cover over easy. So easy is a instruction you want to give for tackling when a player is maybe more of a diver, is a little bit more pacier that your defenders can't keep up with, and you may be more afraid of. So for example here, if we're worried about, let's say, Adam Unas and Male, I might want to put them as easy just because I may be afraid of them diving in the box. For example, for Dusan Vlahovic, just because he's a little bit bigger in nature, he's going to be in the box more. Sometimes I always tend to not change that tactic as well because I want a good mix between hard and easy. So for that example, for strikers, typically I will leave it on a normal status for them. I'm saying, why would you want hard tackling instruction? Video game, I don't condone this in real life, but again, if you ever have an opposition player that has a knock, and then you instruct your players to have a hard tackling method, this can knock their player the game. Also as well, if a player is also having a low morale, where they're not playing as well and maybe they're just on low confidence, having a hard instruction for tackling can also throw them off their game and make them basically invisible for the game as well. The fourth category we got to consider here is show onto foot. So one thing we always got to do is that if you're not really aware of what the player's preferred foot are, if they're able to use both feet, one thing you can do here, so for example, we're going to use Dusan Vlahovic. We're going to check his stats here. So for development, we're going to go tactics. And one thing here is that you're going to see that his left foot is very strong and his right foot is reasonable. So that kind of gives you an idea here that he's more strong on his left foot, but not as good on his right foot. So for example here, what I might want to do is I would probably want to show him to his weaker foot, which we would do here, which we actually show him to his right foot because he's not as good there. Something good to note here, if you're going for wingers or right back and left back, one thing to note is that you probably want to keep them to the outside mostly. I would always make sure that if they are, let's say, I would not want players to cut in and have a chance to shoot. So for me personally, I always want to make sure that they're kept on the outside where they have to make the cross. And that is it for today's video. If you have any questions or comments about today's topic, please make sure to leave a comment below. If you have any questions or concerns, either myself or the network will respond accordingly to your comments. Again, I just wanted to say thank you so much for the network for allowing me to be a guest creator on their channel. It has been a huge honor. Again, please make sure to subscribe to the network's YouTube channel for more FM related content going forward. And again, if you enjoyed the content I presented here today, I do have other FM22 related content on my channel. So please make sure to check out the description below and subscribe to my channel if you want to be part of the family.